The milk carousel represents something most people never consciously examine until they're standing in it, unable to stop, watching the same cycle repeat with their own children. This is where it began. Not with you, with them. With the generation before you, recognized scarcity as normal, as inevitable. As the only truth worth knowing, I saw the milk carousel in a dream. Not real milk, not real carousel. But the symbol was unmistakable, a circular motion. Something being given, something being taken. Generosity that quietly turned into resentment. My grandparents, and yours, likely had a version of this. They survived scarcity, real scarcity. War, depression, displacement. When you survive real scarcity, your nervous system locks into a frequency. There will never be enough. This becomes your baseline, your foundation, your truth about reality. They passed this frequency to your parents, not consciously. They didn't sit down and say, "I want you to fear abundance." Instead, they modeled it through small acts, the way they hoarded, the way they watched consumption with anxiety, the way they counted pennies, the way they gave but kept mental tally of what they gave. Generosity with an invisible invoice attached, generosity with resentment underneath. The milk carousel is specifically about abundance offered, then withheld. It's about giving, then silently resenting the giving. About generosity that feels obligatory rather than free. About love that comes with strings attached. Strings so thin you can't see them until they choke you. In the dream I had with my friends buying gold mining plots, there was something underneath. They had found abundance. They had built something profitable. They had broken the scarcity cycle. And part of me felt genuine joy for them. Another part, the part that inherited the carousel, felt the old sensation. I'm behind. They have what I don't. They figured it out and I didn't. This is how the carousel works. Not through direct conflict, through comparison, through the sense that others are succeeding while you're still waiting. The psychological research on intergenerational trauma is clear now. It's not metaphorical. It's biological. The stress responses your grandparents developed are literally encoded in your nervous system. Your cells remember scarcity, even if your mind doesn't. You were born with your ancestors' survival patterns running your operating system. What does this look like? You accumulate money but can't spend it. You receive compliments but discount them. You achieve success but feel like a fraud. You have enough but keep acting like you don't. You give generously to others but secretly resent them. You fear abandonment, so you become the giver, the one who keeps others dependent on you, ensuring they won't leave. This is the milk carousel round and round. Give, resent. Give, resent. Break the pattern, feel guilty. Keep the pattern, feel trapped. The hornet was the immediate threat in your relationship. The milk carousel is the root. It's the soil where the hornet was born. It's the reason you can't simply fix the intimacy crisis. You're carrying inherited patterns that predate your relationship. You're playing out scripts written by people who died decades ago. Here's where this connects to everything from our previous episodes. The hedgehog taught you awareness. The toilet taught you consequences of ignoring boundaries. The paraglider taught you resilience through cyclical threats. The hornet taught you to recognize hidden relationship dangers. The milk carousel teaches you that none of those lessons can fully work until you understand what's been passed down to you. You can set boundaries with external people. The hedgehog and paraglider taught you that. You can recognize threats in intimate relationships. The hornet taught you that. But if your nervous system is running inherited scarcity programming, you'll sabotage those boundaries. You'll undermine that awareness. You'll recreate the carousel because it's the only pattern your body knows as safe. The milk carousel is about recognizing when you're not actually responding to your current situation. You're responding to echoes, to ancestral patterns, to wounds that aren't yours but feel like they belong to you because you've carried them so long. In the dream, I was visiting my friends who had succeeded financially. They represented the part of me that had broken the cycle. This is the psychological mechanism. Your ancestors survived through self-denial, through believing they weren't worthy of abundance. This belief became a survival adaptation. If I don't expect too much, I won't be disappointed. If I keep myself small, I'm less likely to be targeted, hurt, or destroyed. Your parents inherited this belief. They passed it to you. So now you're running unconscious software that says, accept scarcity, assume inadequacy, apologize for existing. The milk carousel is the dream symbol for this specific pattern. The milk represents abundance, nourishment, life-giving substance. The carousel represents the circle. What goes around comes around, what you give comes back, the repetition of patterns. Together they represent the cycle of abundance offered then withheld, generosity wrapped in resentment, love conditional on your compliance with family scripts. Breaking the carousel requires something most people never attempt: conscious inheritance. Not cutting off your family, not rejecting everything they gave you, but deliberately choosing what to keep and what to release. You keep their resilience, their resourcefulness and ability to survive impossible circumstances. You release their scarcity programming, their unconscious resentment, their belief that you're unworthy. This is generational healing. This is where individual transformation becomes ancestral transformation. When you break the milk carousel, you're not just changing your life, you're changing the inheritance for people not yet born. The hornet in your intimate relationship isn't really about your partner, it's the hornet that was born in the milk carousel your parents ran. It's the resentment they felt, often directed at each other, now living in you. It's the unspoken agreements about love and obligation, now shaping how you relate to the person closest to you. So the final piece of this constellation becomes visible. The hedgehog, awareness, plus toilet, consequences, plus paraglider, resilience, plus hornet, intimate threat, plus milk carousel, ancestral root. Complete picture. You're not broken, you're not defective, you're operating from a downloaded program. Once you recognize the program, you can choose to rewrite it. That choice point is happening now, in this very moment. Will you keep the carousel running, or will you step off and create a different pattern? The dream is offering you that choice. Everything we've explored, the hedgehog, the toilet, the paraglider, the hornet, they all originate here, in the milk carousel. But we're not finished. In episode 6, we go to the foundation beneath the foundation, the stepping in poop sequence, because sometimes the greatest wisdom comes from the most unexpected, unpleasant encounters. Sometimes falling into mess is exactly what your consciousness needs to forge you into who you're meant to become. See you in 24 hours.